afternoon, good morning, possibly where you are, good evening, don't know where you are, but hello everybody and welcome to today's presentation of our family health show, and we have a lot in store for you today. So I'm your host, Sharon, and the co-host is?
I'm Jonathan, assisting Sharon today.
Sorry about that, I was just getting a bit of feedback from another device. So welcome to today's show. If it's your first time joining us, we are so glad that you're on here, that you've chosen to come to True Temperance International to learn a lot about our immune system and fear. And without giving too much away, we have, well, you've seen the poster, hopefully. Welcome to our friends on YouTube. Again, some of you come on week after week, and we just love having you share your time with us. And we hope that as you learn, you share the information. We do have a chat. It's an active, lively chat. And at some point on there, those of you who are possibly watching on Zoom, you'll see in there come up a connection to tell you where to go on YouTube if you want to share this information with other people who aren't on Zoom. Also, you can watch after the show. You can catch up on bits that you, well, want to hear again, okay? So we also have other groups where we stay in touch with you during the week. So we have WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups, because we know people are moving across. But as we do each week, and those of you that know, we set a challenge every week, don't we, Jonathan? You are muted. It's okay, I can keep talking until you unmute, Jonathan. Okay, so
yes, we do set a challenge every week,
Sharon. I know that you've been active in the challenges this week because I have seen so much activity on the women's WhatsApp groups. I did say that I was going to do a video of myself doing some squats. Natalia said that we could do some squats and some other exercises. And I said, okay, I'll choose the squats. And I did post that. So some of you may have been fortunate, if you want to call it that, to have seen my example of exercises and joined in, but there's been so much activity, lots of things, walking exercises, aerobics, all of that kind of stuff. So Jonathan, would you like to say what you did for the challenge this week?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't go for a walk, but my work entail a lot of manual lifting. So because you guys may or may not know, I'm in the construction industry. So I use that most of the time for my exercise. Manual labor is my trade, and I enjoy doing that. So I use that as part of my exercise, Sharon.
Okay, so that's great exercise to be getting involved in. Because is it outdoors, Jonathan?
Sometimes I'm outside, yes. Sometimes I'm inside. So I'm never at the same place each day. I'm always moving around. So right.
So nobody can stalk you because they won't know where to find you.
That's right.
Okay. Lovely. Okay, so we have set the challenge to our viewers. So we're going to invite you to unmute at this time and let us know, form an orderly queue, and just let us know. We can put a hand up we can invite you to unmute and let us know how you got on with doing the challenge this week.
I also remember, Sharon, that people being restricted from going outside is not an excuse from doing the challenge, because we share videos of people doing indoor exercise. So
that is so true. And I actually had to lay an extra bit of, what do you call it? A remnant carpet, because I didn't want to wear out my regular carpet as I was marching on the spot. So yeah, but I did a lot of outdoor stuff too. My step counts went up this week, definitely. So looking out for any hands. Are the listeners able to unmute, Jonathan?
Yes, they can.
Okay, so audience, over to you. And we'll have a look on YouTube as well, if there's anything in the comments left.
Hello.
There.
Hi,
Anybody
Dale.
wish to let us know? Dale.
Yeah. This week I've managed to fit in my 3 sets of course of exercise. I've mostly done walking, but I've also done some exercise indoors, and I've sort of like followed one of your videos that you had sent with you exercising outside. I've also managed to do some exercises inside with your video, as well as 1 or 2 other videos. So it's been good for me, especially for those of us that can't get outside too much under the lockdown. Yeah, but I have chosen to go to other locations, other parks, and that I know is quite big, and so that we're not all clustered together, and did a good set of walking. One park in particular I went to, we walked for about a good 2 hours. So yes, it was brilliant.
That sounds good. It sounds contagious as well. I mean, I know today we've had snow here in the East Midlands, but I did go out and I had a good maybe 45 to an hour walk while I was listening to a sermon on my headphones at the same time. So I had a great walk today. And my step count at the moment, I think it's saying 6,000. So I'll get there. I'll do my 10 at some point throughout the day. So anybody else, would you like to unmute and let us know how you managed to do your exercises this week?
Hi.
What's your name and where are you
Hi, Patricia.
from?
Patricia from Birmingham.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi. I ended up I exercised mainly indoors. I did go for one walk outside, but I did a lot of dancing whilst watching TV. I put a video up on the 1970s, 80s sort of disco funk, and I did that about 3 times this week. I watched TV, and even when I was having phone calls, actually, I was doing like the grapevine and stepping and and just moving around. I did set myself a challenge of maybe every hour for 5 minutes doing something, but with work that didn't happen. But I just made sure I did, like, if I was watching TV, I would stand up and do steps and stretches and different things throughout the week.
Excellent. And I hope you didn't fall over doing your grapevine, getting your legs in a twist.
Let's just say my brother thought I was a bit crazy when he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm clapping."
Yeah, my son was trying to do his, well, he was in the room with me doing his homeschooling on MS Teams. So I'm there doing my exercises. He's there doing homeschooling. Could he concentrate? No. The young man was stood next to me. He's there trying to do the grapevine and doing stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
I had to keep telling him, get back to work, because I was trying to do my exercises. But it was good fun. But in addition to the exercises, and I still want to hear a few more of your testimonies. So thank you very much, Patricia. In addition to the exercises, we also set a challenge the week before of, Lewis set this one of eating healthy, eating with true temperance. And that is continuing to be a challenge because I have to keep watching my phone or watching my watch to make sure I'm leaving enough of a gap between each of my meals, which was easier when I was at home, but when I'm at work, it throws up different challenges, but it's doable. So praise God, it's been okay. So anybody else would like to unmute and let us know how you've got on with your challenge? Cheers.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Danita.
Yeah,
and where
I would like
to, from?
Good. I would like to share some testimony regarding the benefit of exercises.
Okay.
I have 3 kids, but one is little. He is 2.5, and the girls are 8, nearly 9, and 7. So as you know, the school it is online, and it's not just for a half an hour. It's morning and afternoon. Morning and afternoon sessions. So imagine to keep 2 kids indoors so long time. So I have decided I have to do something for them, because they are not used to stay so much in front of the computer or a tablet. So I pray for that, and thanks God, in the morning what I have decided, he gave me this will, isn't it, and this idea. In the morning I have decided to, as we wake up, to go for a walk, half an hour at least, and then to come back, have our breakfast, and try the breakfast to be fruits and seeds or something like this. And then they will start 9:30 for the daily school, isn't it, the hours. And I can say it's working. Today they told me, "Mommy, we are going for a walk again." Because we started from Monday. So and they never been like refusing, they were willing to go. And I was thinking, as we go to school walking, that's a good opportunity to continue to do that, isn't it? Even if we are now locked down, to do this exercise. And it's not to playing, it's just going around the park 2-3 times, as it is half an hour, and then come back to work. And I could see they can concentrate more, and they're feeling much better. Because sometimes we have time in the afternoon as well to go out, but sometimes not, depends of the weather as well. So I thank God, because when you ask God for something, for guidance, always he's able to give you the right one. Because as people, we might not be aware about what is it, what we have to choose, sometimes. And I thank God for that. So yes, exercise is it's a good thing to keep us healthy and in a good mood.
Thank you so much for your testimony, Anita, because it's not just about the body, it's the mind, it's everything. We're all connected. So, and as you said, it will help the children to concentrate more. And all this sitting down at the computer with MS Teams and whatever other platform the schools are using can't be too good. You do need breaks from the screen as well as sitting in position. Whereabouts are you speaking to us from, Danita?
Sorry?
Whereabouts are you speaking to us from? Which country are you in?
I'm from Romania.
Oh, okay.
Maybe my accent is
from Romania.
Yeah, from Romania, but we are here. On the previous lockdown, we could, thanks God, we have chance to go in Romania for 5 months, which was good, because I could plant with my kids. I could spend a lot of time outside and do through internet the lessons, because anyway, all the children were doing that. And now I'm wondering if I can escape again, or we'll see. Because now it's a bit different than the previous lockdown, isn't it? But was a nice time as well to spend time in the sun and in the garden to plant things and to have them as food, isn't it, for winter time, as I used to do when I was little with my parents. But even if we live in a flat, as I said, this lockdown, it depends of us how we want to look to, it's true, are lots around and lots of news, but if we keep active and we put our mind up to good things to do, to change something every day, to change something in our characters, in our mind, in our attitude, this will make us to the good path, isn't it? And as I said, it's not easy. Everybody say me, "Are you crazy?" No, I'm not, because I try something good for my kids. Imagine with the little one as well, because my husband is working daytime. So this week he was working, he was working daytime and then nighttime and so on. And I have to take the little one as well with his little bike, because he might not be able to, but it's possible. When you wish something and you put a high expectation, you will do it, but not by yourself, as I said, with God's guidance and power.
Amen. That is so good.
Excellent.
Jonathan, we have a special spot, right? So I'm going to hand over to Jonathan. I'm pointing that way. I don't know which way he's on your camera, but I'm going to hand over to Jonathan, and let's hear what he's got to say for us.
So even though, Sharon, it was a little bit unexpected at this time, I would probably hold on and see if we have any more testimony, and then we could come back maybe after Louise speak. But I promise you guys, I've got some goodies for you guys. I've got some treat for you. So if you do hang on, you will definitely enjoy this spot.
Okay, so we have possibly time for one more testimony from you, and then we do the disclaimer and go on to today's presentation. So anybody else would like to unmute? Okay, we have Wilfred. It's lovely to have you.
I would like to come in.
We haven't heard from you for it's great to hear you.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, sometimes I'm on and other times I'm off. Yeah, but I'm right now I'm out doing my work right now. And this morning me and my wife, we managed to walk and come up for Sabbath school. Yeah, so I'm enjoying it. For this week the least I did was, I think, 10,000 steps. I got up to about 18, so I'm feeling the benefit of it. Yeah, my location is South London, Lewisham, and we have a scenic walk, we're by the river.
You've got to switch your camera on, Wilfred. You can't say that to us and not show us.
Yeah, right. Well, right now, I'm not there. I'm in the park right now because I see if I can get it off. Yeah, but I'm not by the river right now, but I'm going soon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do like your image, your picture on your screensaver.
All right. Oh, yeah. I find no problem going up the mountains because I constantly walk. We always go to the Lake District every year on men's retreat from Lewisham. But this couple of years now, because of the corona, we haven't managed to go. So that is one of the scenery from the mountains, and I always find it quite easy going up. Well, some of the guys are much younger than me, can't manage, But because I constantly walk, and I'm really feeling the benefit of it. Yeah, really. So I would encourage everybody to do the same. Yeah, yeah. I'm just crossing the road.
Excellent.
But just keep up. Those of you who are doing it, you will get the benefit. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm an old boy and I'm still walking, man. And no young boys can, they can put a challenge to me, man. I'm telling you.
Keep it up, brother.
It's good.
Keep it up, and thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
It's always interesting to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sharon, can we go to the disclaimer, please?
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen as we do the disclaimer. Okay, can you see that, everyone? So just reading off, only a physician can diagnose, treat, and prescribe for any illness or disease. Any information disclosed or discussed at the TTI Zoom talk show are for educational and informational purposes only. Please continue to seek professional medical advice from your general practitioner regarding any illness or disease you may be suffering from. Thank you. We'll stop screen sharing there. Right. So at this point, I believe our presenter, Dr. Louisa Camozzo, is in the house. And before I keep going on, we're going to take this opportunity to invite, some of you may have heard Dr. Louisa speak several times. She is part of our True Temperance International team, and some of you, this may be the first time, but trust me, you will want to hear more and more again, because she's going to give you some information that you can apply to your lives. Pardon? valuable information that you will want to share with others as well. So get your devices ready. You might want to do a couple of screenshots, I'm not sure, or get your pen and paper ready so that you can take notes. And remember, you can always watch us again on YouTube. So I'm hopefully somebody's put the link in there so that you can share this with others. And we'll also put links in for our weekly WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Thank you. So do we have Louise?
So yes, we should have Louise at any moment now.
And is she able to screen share?
Yes.
Lovely.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all. Yes, wonderful to see everybody. Today we'll be immunity to fear, because I believe a lot of people are overwhelmed by what's happening in the world, especially, I don't know about in other countries. In South Africa, we seem to be having quite a lot of deaths, whether they are COVID related or not. But before we get started, I had invited Albertina. I'm hoping that she's on. She's a nurse and she's a frontline worker. I would like for her to just tell us a bit briefly about what it's been like working on the front lines. I don't count as a frontline worker, but I will share a bit of my experience at the end. But I would like her to just talk to us about what it's been like. She works in a hospital I used to work in. It's a very busy hospital. So Albertina, if you're on, please can you unmute yourself and just share with other people what it's been like. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Am I audible?
Hello, yes, we can hear you, Albertina.
Okay. All right. My name is Albertina, but normally I prefer to be called Shamalani. Normally on the screen, I'm Shami. So I'm happy to be giving a testimony on the TTI about how my experience as a nurse working with COVID patients in the hospital. Thank you, Dr. Komutso, for inviting me. Last year, with the start of the pandemic, we had to operate on the first patient that had COVID. So I think it was around about June, and July, most of our staff got infected. I can say maybe close about 80% of the staff got infected. And everybody was tested and they were positive, and then they were, so now the business has to continue. So those who are not positive has to continue with work. And I happen to be among those who tested negative. And then now I have to work. So as we were working, those who tested positive, their period of quarantine elapsed, then they had to come back to work. Then we had a second group that had infection. And then the company decided that no, because we had a handful of people who did not test positive. So what they did, they said, they're going to test all those who did not test positive to see actually what is happening, because maybe they were worried that maybe those ones will test positive also. So they took blood from us. I was one of those people whom blood was taken from. And then they took blood for antibodies. They didn't test us for COVID. On the return of the result, I had antibodies for COVID, but I was never sick, and then I never tested positive. So those are the amazing things that God does for us. I think that's all what Dr. Komut wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Albertina. Just give me a moment. Sincere apologies for that. Thank you so much, Albertina. I thought that was a very powerful testimony. You know, she doesn't understand why. She's just happy that she's got antibodies. And that's because her body knew what to do. So I'm going to go straight into my presentation, and I think you will see from the presentation, you will get to understand why that that happened to her. Okay. Just give me a moment. Bear with me, guys. My mom wants to watch this, so I need to log her on while you guys are just getting. So, the immune system. No, that's not where we want to start. This is not the first time we're talking about the immune system. I think this is part 3 that I've been doing on the immune system. Okay, see the screen. This is part 3 of the immune system. So I'm just going to just recap on what it is we have spoken about. Okay, secure, protect, and defend. Secure, protect, and defend. We spoke about how the function of the immune system is to protect your body, my body, against any harmful substances and organisms, and to protect you against any cellular changes that could make us sick. Okay, so things like cancer and cells that that change. So it must keep us secure against intrusions. We spoke about the 3 levels of defense, level 1, level 2, and level 3. I will not go into too much detail. Starting from the outside, sneezing, that's all part of level 1 defense. So many people hate coughing, you know. So many people hate coughing. So level 1, level Can you guys hear me? Am I on? Sorry.
Dr. Louisa, it's very, sometimes we're hearing you and sometimes we're not. So I'm praying. I'm sure others are as well. But
all right,
we'll get you.
You just indicate to me anytime I go off. I'll have my backup internet on standby. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just that sometimes you will miss a portion of the words that you're saying, but we can hear you.
Okay, all right. Let's get going.
It might be worth you backtracking a little bit, because the first 2 slides they were a bit staccatoed, the way we could hear it coming across.
Okay, all right. Sharon, if maybe you can, if you don't mind keeping your screen on so that you can indicate to me, I'll keep an eye on you. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I can see you. Wonderful. Like I said, the immune system is to protect us from external dangers and defend us against intrusions. All right. And a lot of the time, that's what we are all afraid of, an intrusion coming into our system. 3 layers of defense: level 1, level 2, and level 3. If you haven't seen this presentation, just go on to our YouTube and you will be able to see the different presentations that we've done on the immune system. As I think I will speak slowly as well. Maybe that will help. Am I good now?
It's better now, but what you were saying was, if you've missed, if anybody missed,
these are just the non-specific immunity, defense, and then there's specific and there's adaptive. Today, yes, exactly. All right. Level 1, as I said, level 1 relates to the skin. All right, so this is level 1. Your skin is part of your protection. We must never ever forget that. That's why we did a whole section on how to protect your skin and your mucous membrane. Okay, level 2. These are, we've got your special cells if level 1 is breached. Does that make sense? So there's level 1. If level 1 phages, which are called your big eaters, they're the ones that will take up the pathogens and they will start the immune response. And then there's level 3, which is what we'll be focusing on a bit more today, specific immune response. Albertina was talking about this level of defense. That's what was slide a little later. And so this is the screenshot that you want to take. Okay, you can see it's comprehensive.
Okay, we appear to have lost Dr. Louisa at the moment. There seems to be a lot of dropout. Yes, this is being recorded. And for those of you who may not have heard the presentation previously, it was earlier on last year, Dr. Louisa did a presentation on defending the immune system. And you can always go back after today, or at any time really, to go back, because she went in detail about the 3 levels of the immune system. But we're doing a bit of a recap now. So hopefully we've got Dr. Louisa back. Thank you for those of you who are joining us for the first time. I see my friend Carol is on here, so nice to see you. Okay, right, I'll stop talking and hopefully we can catch what Dr. Louisa is saying.
Thank you so much, Sharon. My sincere apologies to everyone. My internet is letting me down, and I specifically went and got a better device for today. But we'll keep going and we'll get the gist of it. I suppose Sharon will keep giving you snip bites of what I said as we move along. I was saying this is the screenshot you want to have. It gives you a picture of what your defense system is like. It's not just one thing. You are amazingly made, okay? So a lot of people are afraid right now because they don't understand what is happening internally. So take a screenshot and keep looking at it every time you get afraid. Look at your defense system and get to understand it. Okay, moving along. What we said was important was to keep all levels appropriately working. I will not be going into level 1 and level 2. Make sure you don't increase the work of any level. So make sure that if you have eczema, make sure that it gets treated. If you have sinusitis, make sure it gets treated. If you have asthma, I'm talking in the light of especially COVID, make sure any lung issues that you have, make sure that is treated. Try, please, if you're struggling with smoking, try and give up smoking. If you're struggling with junk food and all of these other things, because they're going to affect all the levels of your immune system and how they work. Focus on immune boosting, but not only, some of us, we have immune systems that are overworking, we have hyperimmune system, and that creates a problem and that creates damage in our bodies. We don't want to be suppressing the immune system, but for some, you will see that your doctors will put you on steroids when you have an acute infection. That's a temporary measure, so that, but you only do that under the guidance of a doctor. And I need to say that I have a friend, the family, one of the family members tested positive, and she went and she got steroids for everyone. Now, that's not a good idea, because that's going to suppress everybody's immune system, and therefore they are left without defense. So, all right, I need to say that again with regards to immune suppression. I have a friend, and in the family, one of the people was tested positive for COVID, and she went and she bought steroids for everyone in the family, even those who tested negative. That's going to suppress everybody's immune system, and that is not what we want. You need your defense up. Yes, in some cases, with people who have lung issues, doctors may use steroids to get them out of danger, to stop their immune system from overworking, but you don't want to put yourself on steroids if you don't understand what you're doing. So don't suppress your immune system. You must do it under a guidance of somebody who understands what they're doing. And probiotics are also important. But that's not the topic for today. We're just recapping about the immune system, the 3 levels of defense. Then we spoke about immune system restoration. That was part 2. We looked at the skin as a barrier function. Okay. I will say this, one of the problems I have with things that get injected into my body is that I bypass the skin, and the skin is part of my immune system. So I don't want anything to get in indirectly. It must try and pass through my nose, because at all those levels, there are different things to protect me, okay? If a virus gets into my nose, I have things in my nose to stop. There's mucus and there's enzymes to stop it from proceeding further. So now if I just put it directly into my system, I've literally bypassed the security measure. So we must remember that. And if you have eczema, as I said, you need to make sure that it's treated. If you've got sinusitis, you need to make sure that it's treated. So this is what I'm talking about. The mucus secretes cells. You're supposed to have mucus. It might not look nice, but it's there to cleanse things from out of your body so that they don't proceed any further. I think I will mention at this point that the virus can infect you just in your nose. That's why some people have mild infections. Some it can go down all the way to the back of the throat, and some it can end up in the lungs. And once it's in the lungs, it can create a whole body kind of response. So it's important that at every level, you try and get rid of the virus as much as possible. Looked at and how those cells work, the little hair follicles, but if you have sinusitis, it doesn't look like this, okay? There's disruption of all of that, so it becomes easier to get infected with things that go in your nose and creates more problems. We looked also at the stomach, but that's not the topic for today, so I'll just quickly go through these. This is just for those who have not seen this presentation, go onto our YouTube site and see that. That's the same thing about, and we spoke about acute inflammation versus chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation is good. There's a stimulation, the immune cells comes to the party, it does what it's supposed to do, which is a work of healing, then there's an end and healing occurs. But when you have chronic inflammation, this is where you have things coming into your body and just insulting your body. Then the immune system is constantly stimulated, obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure. So there's a repetitive cycle of inflammation, which does not allow for healing. And therefore, when you get a virus now coming into this situation, that's why we say people with comorbid diseases tend to have a worse condition and disease, and they may end up succumbing to the viral infection. So you don't want to be in a state of chronic inflammation. So if you have diseases of lifestyle, or you have any disease with an itis, arthritis, you need to make sure that we stop this process, okay? And we spoke about how this is how inflammation will affect the body. Okay? So have a look at all the things that inflammation can do in your body. We need to stop the inflammation. Acute inflammation is okay. It's for defense, but chronic ongoing inflammation is not okay. It puts you at risk. And then we spoke about these are the things that contribute to a continuous inflammation state. A diet that allows for inflammation. So this is eating your junk food. They really irritate your body, not environment. So if you're living in the city, if you're working in a company that has a lot of pollution, inactivity, not drinking water, not getting sunshine. Sunshine is very important, people. And then personal care and household products. All of these things contribute. So imagine if you're doing everything from any of these 4 quadrants, you are likely you're having inflammation all the time. So when you get a viral infection, your immune system overresponds. There's more damage that's going to be caused in your body. You will see why later on. And that will just kind of knock you out. All right. So what you want to do is you want to live an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And we've spoken about New Start. Okay. An anti-inflammatory lifestyle spares your immune system so that it can focus on things that are harmful to you. And these were some of the things we really need to ditch the dairy products. Cheese is addictive. I know, okay, I'm a cheese addict, but it's very addictive. It causes mucus. Remember, the mucus will form plugs in your lungs, and that's why a lot of people are not able to breathe. So ditch the dairy, okay? Go on plant-based milk, and there's starting to be plant-based cheeses in South Africa. So go look for those if you really must have. Not the time to be indulging our taste buds, you know, because we want to survive, we want to thrive, isn't it? We want to support our immune system. Especially for those who are gluten intolerant, who've got digestive issues, you would want to avoid gluten and breads. You know, I don't know how you survive, but you need to know your condition. That can create a highly inflammatory system. Avoid white refined sugars. I'm a sugar addict as well. I guess I'm addicted to all those things, to bread, to cheese, to white sugar. But you have to understand that sugar suppresses your immune system. So you may have a beautiful immune system, but it's just dysfunctional.
Louisa,
and this is where I say that you know, we have to eat with our frontal lobe and not with our limbic system. My limbic system is always like, yes, thank you, Sharon. She's my modulator. All right, am I back now?
Yes, just go back just before you was talking about eating.
Wonderful.
Not with the
I was saying those 3 top things, a lot of us are addicts too, myself included. So, but we need to not eat with our emotions. We need not to eat with our limbic system. Yes. All right. So I was just mentioning, this is an anti-inflammatory diet and lifestyle, okay? Avoid the bread, avoid the dairy, avoid the refined sugars. And the reason we keep that in mind, and it has to be a conscious decision to say, yeah, I could eat chocolate cake, but it's going to suppress my immune system. And then we must know that. So just screenshot all of this, lower your stress levels. That's easier said than done. Drink lots of water, okay? And don't say water has no flavor, just drink it up. Just drink it up. Move your body, go for a river earlier on. Beautiful, wonderful stuff. Walking out in nature is one of the best things. That's what Sharon does best, actually, going out, walking into nature. That has a wonderful effect on your body. Absolutely important that you do it. Load up on anti-inflammatory foods, including your turmeric. That's with experience with herbs and spices. That will modulate your immune system. Okay, we haven't gotten into today's topic yet. I'm still just giving you, I guess that's where we are. To fear, immunity to fear. There's a concept called emotional contagion. Emotional contagion. Viruses are contagious, but so is panic, and so is fear, hysteria, okay? So we must choose wisely. Now, the biggest problem is that a lot of us are glued and watching the news, isn't it? And on the news, we're hearing how many people are dying, how many people are infected, and how the virus is changing, and all of this is creating fear in us, because the information comes into your brain, okay? It stimulates a part of your brain, the amygdala, and it sends warning signals, and it says, you're going to die. If you go outside, you're going to be infected by somebody. Oh, look, your daughter went out to the shops. What if she met somebody with a virus? And then you go into this whole hysteria and panic and fear. I have met people I have not seen in a long time, and they don't actually. One of my relatives was telling me that for the past 9 months she has not left her house. She looks as light as anything. That means she has not been out into the sun. She's not socializing with other people. Yes, I know that we're keeping social distancing, but she's taken it to the extreme. Why? Because she has fear. It's more than fear. It's hysteria. Okay. And so today I want us to deal with this fear factor. What is fear? Firstly, we need to remember that fear is an emotion. It's a work of the limbic system. It is not a rational thought. Okay, so remember when we did, I think I did a presentation on emotions. It's that, yes, it's supposed to tell us when we're in danger, but we're not supposed to ever act out from our feelings. We're supposed to act out from our rational mind. So fear is a perceived danger, and it's supposed to help us to respond to threats appropriately. Okay, respond to threats appropriately. So when you see a lion, you realize that there's a great threat, and the appropriate response is to run. Okay, but if you hear something underneath your bed, as an adult, you do not think that it's the boogeyman, all right? Even though that's what you thought as a child, because knowledge and experience have taught you that that is an irrational fear. So you'll probably just look under the bed and maybe it's a mouse, maybe you're afraid of mice, that's fine. But to correctly know if something is dangerous or not, we need knowledge and information, and we need experience, and we need a clear-headed mind. When we're afraid, our thoughts are not clear, and therefore our response is not going to be clear, because we cannot think and we cannot reason properly. Is everybody still with me? So right now, I would like everybody to just be calm, to just get excited, rather, knowing that we're going to share with you knowledge and information that is going to empower you. And that's what we do every Saturday. We give you knowledge to empower you so that you don't have to live a life of fear. especially now in the time that we're living in. So be calm, be clear-headed, be sober, and be filled with love. Okay, because it's contagious. That's what I'm sending to everybody. So be infected with what I have. Now, fear can be detrimental to your body, physically and mentally. As I've mentioned before, fear will cause your body to release cortisol. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone. It has its use. But if you're constantly under its work, then you can't sleep properly, your immune system can't work properly, you can't control sugar properly, you can't digest food properly, you will get sick. If you are living in constant fear, you will get sick. Okay, and fear can cause distorted thinking, and if you have distorted thinking, you're going to have distorted action. And this is what I've been seeing from a lot of people. All right, people are overdoing everything. They are over sanitizing. They are over washing. Remember, I've even mentioned that we have good bacteria on and outside of our skin. So we're washing these things away.
Okay, apologies again, people. We have lost Dr. Louisa again. She's dropped out. So just to recap, we have looked at 2 levels of the immune system. And then on the 3rd level, we were looking at what to do with fear. Just reminding you, we've been speaking about the frontal lobe response and the limbic part of your brain, and how you respond with irrationality. And Dr. Louisa
emotions
wants to understand a bit more about how to deal more with our frontal lobe understanding of fear. I think that's a version. Okay, I think we've got you back.
Thank you, Sharon. Wonderful. Yes. But it's good. It's good. All things work together for good. You get to give them a summary of where we are so far. So what we're doing is we're sharing with you information right now to get rid of the fear. Okay. I know the information that has been shared out there about social distancing so that we don't infect one another, about hand washing and about sanitizing. Remember, don't overdo it. You still need the good bacteria on your skin. Okay, and what's the 3rd thing about the wearing of masks? Yeah, and but we've been talking to you about strengthening your immune system, but because you don't know what's happening, you're seeing people dying. That's what your eyes are seeing every day. You don't understand what's happening inside of you. Now, Albertina has been going to work since March last year. She's been treating, I know that hospital, it's very busy. She's been treating people. And then now everybody's surprised. Why is this girl not getting sick? By the way, she's been part of the Kwamkamani family. She's always ordering our products and making sure that she's detoxing her body and supporting her system. All right, so she's doing what she knows to do, and she's going to work, and she's also trusting in God as she's a believer. You have that extra thing as a believer. I'm a scientist, but I'm also a child of God. So I combine the word of God, because God is the greatest scientist that I know. Everything in nature, when our body testifies of the love and the wisdom of God. Okay, so now in dispelling the fear, for those of you who didn't hear, Albertine has been going to work in a busy hospital in South Africa, and she's been exposed to people who have this thing. Yet they were surprised that she didn't get any disease and she's still working. So what they did was they took her bloods and they found out that she has antibodies. Therefore, that means she's never had disease and she's never tested positive. So now we want to look at what's happening inside of Albertina's body, and maybe that's happening inside of your body and you don't know. But if you're busy being afraid, you're going to stop that process from happening, okay? So let's give you some empowering information and knowledge. Because God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, of love, and of sober minds. Now, I can't run away from controversy, but I don't want to get into controversial issues today. I want to focus on one aspect of the coin that has not been focused on. Back in the 1800s, Louis Pasteur postulated the germ theory, which says germs cause disease. Right. So according to Louis Pasteur's theory, the coronavirus causes the COVID disease. Okay, that's the germ theory. Claude Bernard actually laughed at this concept. He said, no, the germ is nothing. The terrain is everything, meaning the reason why two people can be infected with the same germ and one person gets a disease and the other one does not get a disease is because of the host, the state of the host. Now, Albertina, you don't have to do any more clinical trials. By observation, Albertina is one of those who's proving Claude Bernard's theory. She's in the hospital. All of them are exposed to the virus. Colleagues are falling sick all around, and she's not falling sick, yet she has antibodies to this virus. Why? Her terrain is different from everybody else's terrain. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your terrain is as good as Albertina's, and you must keep it that way. By the way, Louis Pasteur was a microbiologist. That means he studied amazing, which they are, right? But Bernard studied, I think it is magnificent. My Bible tells me that the crowning work of God is greater than anything else that is made. So we cannot have a virus that is far more superior than we are. Okay, so this is the great debate between Pasteur's theory of the germ theory and Bernard saying it's the terrain that is important. So if germs cause disease, it's as simple as that. Anytime you get a flu virus, you should have the flu. But that does not always happen. Why? It depends on how well and how strong your body is. That is what Bernard, the field of medicine works according to Louis Pasteur. Okay, naturopathy works according to Claude Bernard. It says, don't focus so much on the infections, on the viruses and on the bacteria. Focus on making the body strong because it's designed, it has everything it needs to deal with these things. But that's not what we're doing. That's why I'm saying everybody's afraid, because it's like, oh, the virus is mutating now. Yeah, the virus is mutating. What do you think is going to happen? Your terrain will realize that this virus is mutated, and it will create subsequent things to deal with the mutated virus. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm showing you the difference. Claude Bernard, the terrain is everything. The germ is nothing. I know for a lot of people, they're like, oh, you're making art. I have lost family members, okay? And just this week, my cousin really had it bad with the COVID. But I understand that it is still the terrain. The difference, because at his house, he was infected, the wife, 99% recovery rate. Why did he end up with the worst? All of us should be succumbing to every virus that affects us. So we need mutating. We can't stop it from finding us. Even if somebody could have touched something, I don't want you to be afraid. That's what I'm saying. The virus could be anywhere. Trying to run away from the virus, I always say, is like dancing in the rain and trying not to get wet. It's an impossibility. Okay. So let's look at the terrain. Like I said, if you just joined in, you want to capture this. We're going to talk about your T cells and your B cells, because these are very important right now in your body in keeping you healthy. But you'll see that before you even get to your B cells and T cells, you see that you have 5 other different cells. Within hours of being infected, these hours get to work dealing with this virus that has come into your body. So it's not like your body is not doing anything, okay? they do that. And then within a couple more hours and starting days, your macrophages and your dendritic cells also get involved. And then in a couple of days, your B cells and your T cells get involved. And these are the two cells that we're going to focus on today. Remember, we're talking about, because I see a lot of people are just joining us now, we're talking about immunity to fear. Fear is because you believe that there's something dangerous that's coming towards you. And right now, that danger is COVID. But I have said that's because you believe what Pasteur said, that germs cause disease. Now, I'm trying to turn you into somebody who believe what Bernard said, who said that terrain is everything. How strong your body is going to make all the difference, whether you're in the 99% that recover or the less than 1% that succumb. Okay, 87% recover from home. You want to be in the 87% that recover from home. Whether you get a mild infection or whether you get a severe infection, you can recover. I have been dealing with patients since March. So as you can imagine, in December, I got knocked down. But all I did was I just lay in bed for 2 weeks and let my immune system do its thing. I was like, oh, by now, my B cells are doing this. My T cells are doing this. I think they need some cayenne pepper. I think they need some turmeric. I was literally having a conversation and I was not afraid because I understood just how my body works. And in those 2 weeks, all my addictions were out the window. Okay, I had no sugar, I had no cheese, I had none of those things. And well enough, I recovered. And that is a miracle that God, even from the foundation, from when I was born, my system was already there and it was already prepared. So let's look at the B and T cells. This information should help to do away with the fear, okay? If Albertina can be in the front line and not get sick and end up with antibodies, you can also have that. Okay, now I want us to understand a few things. We can all be little scientists. You've heard them talk about antigens, isn't it? And everybody's like, what is an antigen? What's going on? So every cell, okay, remember that viruses are kind of cells. We'll just call them cells. Every cell, you can see that there's the human cell, there's a bacteria, and there's a virus, those three things. Every one of those things on the surface, they have things that make them unique, okay? So these things, these molecules are called antigens, okay? So they can be a protein or they can be a carbohydrate. And they're very unique. They're what identifies. Now, what happens is your human cells, your immune system recognizes them. So when it goes around, it says, oh, this is Sharon's liver. We should not, this is Sharon's brain. We should not attack it. So the immune system, as there is antigens that belong to your body, so that the antigens that are pathogenic, which means they don't belong to you. So when the immune system comes, it says, you don't belong here. So we need to do something about it. That's all an antigen is. So the next time you hear in the news, they're talking about antigens, they're talking about that are unique and that the cells of the immune system can recognize, so that they can say, does this belong here or does this not belong here? There's self and then there's non-self. So with the coronavirus, it also has antigens. It has these unique molecular structures that the cells of your immune system recognizes and say, aha, you don't belong here. You are pathogenic, meaning you're non-self and you are harmful to the body. We need to do something about you. All right, so that's antigen. Now, I said we're going to look at T and B cells. We'll start with the T cells. T cells are called T cells because they graduate in the thymus. The thymus is the little gland behind your breastbone, okay? They create T helper cells. I'm just waiting for my internet to become a bit more stable. All right. They can create T helper cells. T helper cells, they release chemicals to get the immune system working, for communication amongst the immune system. Okay, that's what the T helper cells do. And then there are T cytotoxic cells, which release toxic material to kill any cell that's infected. So let's say that the virus infects the cell in your nose, okay? So in your nose, there'll be T helper cells that tell other cells, come here, there's a virus, we've seen it. We need to kill it, okay? And then there'll be T cytotoxic cells, which release chemicals that are going to kill your own cells that are infected with the virus. So you can imagine if this is happening in your lungs, your own cells that are infected with the virus are going to get destroyed. And that's why a lot of people have all these lung issues at the end of it. Now, if asthma is already attacking your lungs and cigarette smoking is damaging your lungs, now you
Okay, we've got signal dropout again. So just to recap, we're looking at the T cells and the B cells and how they are being used to help with the terrain. So for those of you who have just joined us, one of the things that Dr. Louisa was talking with us about was the seed versus the soil theory. This is Louis Pasteur's theory versus Claude Bernard in dealing with viruses. And what that is to say is we're looking at how is the issue the virus or is it the host? And it's being made clear that the physiologist's perspective of the host being the major issue, that is really what we can work with, because the viruses will come and go, but the host, the terrain, the body, that is always going to be there provided, you know, we're alive. So that's what we need to work on, keeping a healthy immune system. And I believe we have Dr. Louisa back, so praise God.
Thank you, Sharon. You gave everybody a recap. You gave them an exam and a test to make sure they're with me.
I think the test is mine.
It's all right. We'll keep coming back. We were talking about the. I'm sure you did very well with that. So we spoke about the T cells. These are thymus cells. They can make T helper, T cytotoxic. These kill the infected cells. Okay. So the virus cannot hide. It will be found inside of the cells, and those cells will be destroyed. That's done by the T cells. But I was then saying, well, anyway, let's move to the B cells. The B cells are called the B cells because of bone marrow. They're in the bone marrow, okay? They're made in the bone marrow. They make antibodies once an invader has been recognized. So the antigen would have been recognized, then the B cells will be like, okay, let's produce an antibody. What's an antibody? An antibody is a protein that neutralizes the invader, okay? Remember, some of the viruses will be inside of the cell, some of them will just be floating in your system, okay? So the antibodies will neutralize those ones that are in your system that's just floating about. Then what we need to understand is the anti levels will go down. This is what we're hearing a lot of in the news. Oh, the antibody levels do not remain up. Well, once the invader has been neutralized, you don't need to have the antibodies levels high all the time. But just because the antibody levels go down does not mean that's the end of your immunity. Because as you can see, both the T cells and the B cells, they create memory cells for future, easier, faster recognition and response. Isn't that exciting? I think that's just phenomenal. So in future, when you get reinfected, I was telling you that there's a scene in The Lion King where a Simba is running away. The hyena say to him, if you ever come back, we'll kill you. Do you understand? So it's almost like you've got these memory cells, these memory B cells and these memory T cells, and they say to the virus, if you ever come back in here, we will kill you. So you want to have these memory cells, you want to have the memory T cells, and you want to have the memory B cells. I will confess, maybe I'm just weird, but I was very happy when I finally succumbed for those 2 weeks, because I know now that I have the memory B cells and the memory T cells. And anytime I'll get infected again, there's an easier recognition and response from my system. So now we just have to see what's going to happen with the variant, and I will cover a little bit of that in this. So I don't know if that doesn't make you feel a little bit more comfortable, or thinking, yo, I need to make sure that my immune system is working so that my B cells and my T cells can do this thing. I don't know what else is going to do that. Remember, we're talking about reducing our fear through knowledge. I have both knowledge, information, and experience, personal experience. So that's why my fear level of this thing is like next to 0. Am I saying that I will not die? That's not what I'm saying. But it will not be death that's induced by fear. Because remember, when you're afraid, you shut down the very defense that is supposed to protect you. So this knowledge is so that you can be like, okay, I need not be afraid, because this is what my body is going to do, but I need to make sure that I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I'm drinking my water, I'm spending time in the sun, I'm doing all these things that TTI is telling me to do every Saturday. So all that's left to do is to trust that this body that God created will deal with the virus the way God intended it to deal with it. Okay, so this is just the summary, literally. I liked the pictures. I thought they simplified things. If you want to capture them and read them later on, remember I spoke about the phagocytes. They were in the second group. These are called the big eaters. So they will eat whatever the pathogen is. So they will eat this virus, okay, and internalize it. And they will present the antigen. Remember the antigen? That molecule that says this belongs to this virus, they will present this to a helper T cell, okay? And then these helper T cells, remember, what did I say they do? There are 2 kinds of helper T cells. There's the helper T cells that says to everybody, yo, we've got this virus inside of us. Come, everybody, let's come and deal with it. So that's the one helper T cell. And then we've got your cytotoxic T cells that says, look, that part of the lung is infected, that part of the nose is infected, that part of the body is infected. Kill those cells that are infected, okay? So those are your T cells doing the different jobs. Then your T cells will also activate your B cells, okay, by presenting the antigen to your B cells. And your B cells will be like, I'm going to make the thing to neutralize all these guys, okay? So it will create these antibodies in large amounts and neutralize them. And when the job is done, the T cells will multiply themselves and they will create a memory. And you have millions of cells waiting to be identified with COVID-19, COVID-23, COVID-25, from all these different viruses that have been from time immemorial, okay? You have millions and millions of B cells and T cells waiting to become memory cells. And remember, you have short memory cells and you have long memory cells that last for long. This is what your immune system does for you when you have looked after it and protected it, okay? Now look at this. So people will say, but what about these concept of reinfection? Okay, so initially, when you get contact with the pathogen, this is the first time. So you don't have memory T cells, you don't have memory B cells. This is the first time. So it takes a couple of days. Remember, it takes a couple of days before the T cells and the B cells become involved, because your T cells and your B cells are thinking, no, man, let the level 1 and the level 2 and those other guys deal with this thing. But when they fail, these guys come up to the party. So they come up in the third day. So now when you see the second arrow, when you get infected the second time around, look at it. It doesn't take, as these are the only way for us to measure what is happening. So if you get reinfected, you don't need to know is being reinfected on a regular. Every time people are coming, she's being reinfected, and her body must just keep making antibodies. If she stays awake from work for, like, let's say a month or 2 months, her antibody levels might start to go down. When she goes back into the hospital setting, she may get reinfected because the body had dealt with the virus that was there. Remember, it kills the viruses that are floating around, and it kills the viruses inside of the cell. So her viral load goes down. So she goes to work now with a low viral load. Her antibodies have come down. There are patients, there are 20 patients in the hospital with COVID. They're all coughing and spluttering and doing all kinds of things. She gets reinfected. What happens? The T cells are like, we know who this guy is. We don't even have to wait for the other guys. They stimulate the B cells and they start making antibodies again. I want to say praise be to God, because this is just phenomenal. This is how we have dealt with viruses and bacteria as humanities. So you have memory cells that are long-lived B cells. The memory cells are produced after the first time you've been exposed. And that's why in some countries, they allowed people, they said, let's allow everybody to get herd immunity. Let them be exposed for the first time and build immunity towards it. Are people dying from the virus? Yes, people are dying from the virus because some people don't have a strong enough immune system, okay? But what should we be doing? We should be strengthening people's immune system so that when they get exposed, they can build immunity, and then they will be able to retain their immunity. Then what's going to have to happen is that the virus is going to have to keep mutating. But every time the virus mutates, what happens is that new antigens are presenting. The whole process will start again. But then you'll see something wonderful that you will not even be able to believe. So memory cells allow the body to mount an immune response more quickly, so less days to produce antibodies, and more vigorously produce 100 times more antibodies than initial contact. So why are we afraid of being reinfected? It's not nice to have this thing. The fatigue is terrible. My brain was in a fog, okay? It's not nice to have it, but you will know that once you have had it and you have gone through it, you have a defense against it. So the next time it comes, faster, 100 times strong, more vigorously than before, and you will deal with it. You might not even know that you've been reinfected because you might not even get the symptoms because your body is just gonna kick it out before it does any harm. All right. I think this is pretty much the same thing. I just love the slides. I think just take pictures of them so that you can, anytime you feel afraid, you must know that you're focusing on the virus and you're not focusing on the ability and the strength and the fearfulness of the amazing way that your defense system is made. Okay, so this is just the same thing. I'm repeating myself over and over and over again, just to show you there are T cells, there's B cells, there's antibodies. Don't mind if your antibodies go down, they have done their job. This one is specifically, it was for a study specifically for SARS-CoV, that you will see that the innate system, those are your dendritic cells, the smaller cells, will deal with it first, then it will present it to your adaptive immune system, to your T helper cells that make those chemicals to call other cells. Okay, repetition deepens impression. You've been hearing too much about the virus. I want to tell you a lot about the B cells and the T cells. So your T cells will call other T cells to come and help, and will call the B cells. There'll be T cells that kill the infected cells. There'll be T cells that regulate your immune system and inflammation. Then there'll be B cells that become plasma cells that make antibodies. Antibodies will neutralize the virus. And then you will be left with memory. And that is the beautiful thing. So that when you're infected the second time around, your memory cells, then this is the graph that you normally see. So the purple will be the antigen coming in, and the viruses are coming in saying, woohoo, they don't know who we are, we're coming to destroy you. Your specific T cells, as they start to be made, and your B cells, and you start making antibodies, and you are not immunity. Even as your antibody levels go down, you will have immunity. That's why we can test whether somebody has ever had measles or chickenpox or any of those things, because so there's no reason why this virus should not be of the human body. This is once again to show you the funds is much quicker and much more than the first time you were exposed. Now, there's been studies, I couldn't share the video, to show that those who were who had the H1N1 influenza virus, it's been shown that they have cross-protective that means was because sometimes there are similarities. Those people were shown virus, and it's also been shown that those who have been exposed to other viruses, not all viruses are pathogenic, by the way. There are viruses that are in our body and they're there to kill harmful bacteria. So there's a little war going on between viruses and bacteria. That's why I'm saying all the bacteria in our body, because some of them with cows and cats and even bats. I don't know why anybody work with bats. There are viruses that have been in those animals that then cause your immune system to release antibodies without causing an infection in you. And those antibodies actually work against some of these viruses. Does that make sense? So some viruses induce an immune response such that I think they said about 40% of those who had H1N1 are actually immune to COVID-19. That is the beauty of the book. So now, when the virus changes or it mutates, as it's been said that the one in South Africa has changed, they say we should not call it the South African variant, but call it 501.3. With the mutation, it depends how many changes has been made, okay? If you had a severe infection, you might still have immunity towards it. If not, you may get reinfected with it. But remember, then the whole process will start again. The body will say, oh, okay, we have a new coronavirus coming into our body, like we've had coronaviruses since the 1960s. The body will then stimulate T cells, B cells, antibodies, deal with it, neutralize it, leave memory B cells and memory T cells for the future. Then that one, when it mutates, the body will just keep doing this. We'll just keep doing it and 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 just keep doing it. It sounds very simple, but it really is that simple. You've never thought about it before, but now you need to know, because my fear is one side of the coin is being presented. I was very happy with the World Health Organization. They're finally saying that people need to look at their lifestyle. About time as well. They took about 9 months before they started saying it. People need to look at their lifestyle. Why? Because lifestyle supports the immune system and creates a terrain where the virus does not thrive. I'm almost at the end of my presentation. As I said, we've looked at the innate immune system, physical barriers. Make sure your skin is in good condition. Make sure your mucous membrane, your mouth and your nose are in good condition. Get rid of sinusitis. We all have saliva, we all have our tears, we all have our stomach acid. Well, we should have all our stomach acid, except those sort of those. Remember, those are stopping barriers to infection. Then we have our phagocytes, our big eaters. They will kill the organisms. You don't need to even worry about that. Then we have our adaptive immunity, which is what we've been focusing on today. We have the B cells, okay? They create antibodies to neutralize the virus in your body, and then they create memory cells for faster, easier recognition and response in future. And then we have your cell-mediated, your T cells. You have your cytotoxic T cells and your helper T cells. Your helper T cells, they call others to the party to come and help. Your cytotoxic T cells are the one that kill cells that are infected. And as you can see there, that's where I'm leading. They will cause damage to your body, okay? When two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers, okay? So your lungs may be damaged. So then what do we then do? So there needs to be a post-infection recovery. I was listening to the radio the other day, and all these people were calling in to say about how they're happy, they've survived the virus, but now they find that they must live with fatigue and a brain fog and loss of taste. And I'm saying, no, you don't need to live with that. That was the damage that was caused by the virus. Now, there are 3 steps you need to do with this thing to eliminate fear. Number 1 is to not be afraid to know that your body is capable. And part of number 1 is living a lifestyle that supports your immune system. Right. As you're living a life that supports the immune system, you get exposed and you get the virus. You must remain calm while you have the virus, knowing that your body has what it takes to deal with this virus, annihilate it, and then create memory so that you, even if you get, remember, being reinfected and having disease again are 2 different things. Does that make sense? They will say somebody is reinfected. Albertina is getting reinfected all the time because she's constantly in the presence of people that have this thing, and her immune system keeps dealing with it. But as she's being infected and reinfected, she has never had disease. So understand that there's a difference between being reinfected and having disease. So that's part 2. If you're infected or reinfected, you must know that you will go through the phase. But there needs to be a post-infection recovery plan. Why? To repair the damage to the tissues, especially the lungs. Okay? So people who afterwards their lungs are damaged, there needs to be on a program to repair their lungs, because if they get reinfected again and the cells get damaged again, then there's going to be more damage. So you need to allow healing to take place. Okay? We need to replenish the nutrients. As I said, for me, post-infection, I had lost my sense of smell and taste. I couldn't enjoy my food. So I made sure that I was taking zinc 100 milligrams a day. I was taking vitamin C 2 grams. I even got a vitamin C drip. Well, I didn't take the vitamin D3 and K2 because I've got a lot of sunshine where I am. It's really hot. Temperatures are at over 30 every day. So I take my walks. And my taste is back. I don't have brain fog anymore, because I made sure that I've replenished the nutrients. Remember, it's a war that happens when you're infected, okay? So your body uses a lot of your nutrition to deal with this virus. Remember, zinc is antiviral, so a lot of it is going to be used up. So the brain fog and the loss of taste is because of depleted levels of vitamin C. So you need, of zinc. So you need to make sure, just Google it. Deficiency in vitamin C leads to taste, loss of taste. So it's not necessarily the virus. So it could just be that you're depleted. My taste is back. Then you need to re-strengthen your immune system. And then you need to be empowered against fear. I've seen people who've been infected. Now they're afraid to go out. They think, where did I get it? Was it because of work? And people are taking action, that is, they're resigning from work, and now they're becoming financially stressed. You don't need to do that. You need to know that, okay, I was infected. Now I have B and T memory cells, and they'll be able to deal with me. Let me go on a post-infection recovery plan. All of us can be on this plan anyway. The same plan that protects you is the same plan that treats you. So it makes life very easy. And that is what I have for you. And I thank the Lord that the internet didn't die out. And we will now be taking questions.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. And thank you, God, for keeping us through this presentation. I know there are loads of questions here. Can I take the privilege of asking the first one and then push it out to everybody else? Okay, this was absolutely amazing.
Of course, there's a privilege to being a host, so yes, go ahead.
Thank you, thank you. Right, now, if a person gets reinfected and their T cells, and I just love the way you presented it, it was like a battle. The T cells and the B cells come into the party and they deal with you and they work on the infection, on the virus. Before the virus is actually demolished and gone, you know, from your system, because your T cells have just come back into the party, and your B cells, are you still infectious? Could you still spread it on to somebody else? So for instance, I work in the hospital. If I get it, but my T cells and B cells are fighting at it, and that's fine, when I come home, am I likely to pass it on to my family or anyone on the bus?
Well, the infectious period is usually called the incubation period. That's normally before you even realize you have symptoms. That's why I'm saying trying to avoid the virus is like dancing in the rain and trying not to get wet. Often you won't know. The first 3 to 5 days, you're infectious and you might not even have any kind of symptoms. Once your body start dealing with it, remember, then the viral load goes down. So what is recommended, not necessarily what is generally recommended, is that you quarantine yourself. But my question is, if you're infectious and you don't have any symptoms, you won't know. And because you can't be testing all the time, if you have, you won't know. So healthcare workers, it's a challenging one, because healthcare workers are constantly exposed to the virus, and therefore they tend to become carriers, and their family members are not. So there's likely that, imagine you go to work today, Sharon, and you're fine and you get exposed. You're not going to have symptoms today, but you were infected. When you get home, you're carrying it. It starts multiplying. You're going to infect others. Does that make sense? So unless we stop living and stop going everywhere, that's the only way we might not get infected. And that is not practical with life, because we should have done that when we first had TB, because TB is highly infectious, but we continued living. So I don't know if that answers your question. I understand not wanting to infect other people, but you won't know when you are infectious because you don't always have the symptoms.
Yeah, that answers the question. And also knowing what we can do to prevent is something that we can all benefit from, the vitamin C, the D, the zinc, the exercise.
Yeah. Just one other thing. This is what my mom does. My mom is just super nice. Whenever she comes out from having melt with other people, one of the first things she does is she goes to the bathroom. She takes a bath, she puts her essential oils in that, and then she steams. What she's doing is she's reducing the viral load, so that even if she is a carrier, she's reduced it from her body. So that's something that everybody can do. Just wash off some of the viruses and steam yourself before you come into contact with other family members.
That's brilliant advice. Thank you for that. I know tea tree oil is fantastic for virus fighting and other essential oils. Thank you. Right then, Jonathan, have you been keeping an eye on the chat?
Just to say, the chat is buzzing. A lot of people are saying, thank you, Doc. It's very informative. But I'd just like to say to all our everyone online, stay with us, because at the end of the question session, I have a goodie corner for everybody.
Okay. So I'm going to try and see if I can pick up some of the questions. We do have some hands, but some people did put their questions earlier on in the chat. So we'll see if we can pick up some of those. One person was asking about cheese, because you did mention about your allergy to dairy cheese. One person said, could I be having vegan cheese? Is that okay? Let's see. That's just
yes, I was talking about dairy products. Dairy products tend to create mucus in our body. If anybody saw one of the videos that was doing it around, was the doctor actually at a hospital just 5 minutes from my house. What he did was, with the patients who couldn't breathe, he did a bronchoscopy, and he was able to remove mucus plugs from their lungs. Okay, so you don't want anything that's causing mucus in your body. Too much mucus in your body, let me say, because the body makes mucus naturally, and you don't want that mucus to remain in you. So a lot of people are coughing is a response to try and get removed, that people were able to breathe better. So vegan cheese, goody, you can have it, but any milk that comes from other species, leave it alone.
So someone is asking, Doc, how will these cells react to taking the vaccine? But I would imagine it would be the same way of how it deals with any disease, isn't it?
The question of the vaccine is, I don't know what is in the vaccine. So the idea, when Jenner created the first vaccine to smallpox, literally what they did was they took the smallpox virus and they made it less infectious and they introduced it to the body to try and get the body to do what it would normally do. Does that make sense? They were just trying to get the immune system to do what it would normally do when infected. So that's what they are trying to do with the vaccine. But this one is becoming controversial because now they're doing far more than just trying to do that. They are experimenting with other things. People are worried that they are putting other things in the vaccine. So now the idea is that let's make it less virulent, but there's a 99% recovery rate. I don't necessarily think it's necessary to try and make it less virulent because it's not that dangerous. So the idea is that it should stimulate your immune system. But remember now, like I said, you're bypassing your skin. That's part of your defense system, and you're putting something directly into your system. So you're bypassing level 1 and level 2 and going straight to level 3. That's not how the body is supposed to work. But you would have to do your own researches into it. I'm waiting to get more clear information. I know in other countries they're vaccinating. I don't think we're vaccinating yet in South Africa. I don't have a clear information as to what is in the vaccine, what does it do, and what kind of response it's going to have. It's trying to mimic what the body is doing. So my question is, why not allow the body to do what it's doing? Because the virus has a 99% recovery rate.
Okay, thank you. We do have another question. I just love your teaching style. I wish you was my biology teacher, but I'm older than you, so that wouldn't have happened. Okay, someone was asking about vitamin D. Is 10,000 units strong enough to take if you're living in the UK? And somebody did say take K2 with it.
Well, obviously, the answer is always it depends. It depends what your current vitamin D level state is like. It depends if you have any other diseases, generally, and it depends if you have a viral infection. You may want to go to 15 over a period of 7 days and then bring it down, and then keep an eye on it. Remember always, guys, that vitamin D and vitamin K are fat soluble, meaning they are stored in your body. If you take it for too long, it can become toxic to your body. So it's always good to be able to check your levels.
That's where the true difference comes in then. So you don't want to overload on your vitamin D. Never heard that with it saying it becomes toxic to the body if you take excess. So that's educational for me as well. Thank you.
There's another question.
Oh, there's a few more. Yeah.
Oh, what is the best way to treat sinus naturally?
I always say, firstly, you do lifestyle. So you stop whatever it is that induces sinusitis. I always say dairy products, and look at what else triggers it. Look at your environment. Then what you do is when you get home, just saline washings. So just you can make a salt water solution, or you can buy one, and you just irrigate your nose. Then put some vitamin E oil in there. To create a nice little kind of barrier effect. You can take your zinc and your vitamin C because that's good for mucous membranes. Yeah, I'm sure the other team members can help with that. And your mucosinusitis is a state of inflammation, so you want to be on an anti-inflammatory diet.
Thank you. Now, before we take any more questions, just to remind people that if you're asking questions, please can they be general, not specific, as in a consultation. So if we can keep them general. I did notice there was a question about the kidneys. I don't know if that's related to the topic that we're discussing. If it is, please can you reassure me that it is related to the topic. But bear in mind, we are dealing with issues to do with the immune system. Okay, so I'll take another question. How, okay, it is to do with the topic. Are masks good to wear?
You guys are leading me onto controversial grounds here.
Sorry.
So the idea behind the mask, it's fine, it's not you. The idea behind the mask is that it will stop a tiny little virus that's smaller than the TB bacteria from getting into your system. As I was saying, for me, it is an equivalent of dancing in the rain and trying not to get wet. I see people out in their own cars wearing masks alone. I see people in their own yards wearing masks. For me, that spells fear. It means a person is not being rational. You cannot be wearing a mask all the time. Some of these masks, the test was done about some of the masks that we receive in South Africa from one of the countries. I shouldn't say the name lest I get sued. And it was shown that the particles are being inhaled into our body. All right. Tests were done to show that we've been other bacteria are accumulating on the mask and we're not washing them regularly. So now we're at prone of secondary bacterial infection. If we were supposed to have a covering on our mask, trust me, God would have made one there. You have your nose, which has mucous membranes. It's able to trap these things. Okay, I don't make the decisions at a higher level. I don't understand the rationale behind the mask. I wear a mask for compliance, but from a scientific perspective, and I need to say this to everybody. All of us are going to come saying it is from a scientific perspective. Not all scientists agree with how things are being managed. That's why we're all teaching. Some are coming from the perspective of Louis Pasteur. This is our saying, that the germs cause everything. So if the germs cause everything, then you must protect yourself from the germs. Some of us are coming from a Claude Bernard perspective, that it is the germ is nothing, the terrain is everything. So then you don't need to fear the germ. You need to make sure that the terrain is strong. So the wearing of masks goes with Louis Pasteur's
Okay, we've got a question from you.
Just before you take the next question, Sharon, I'd just like to take the opportunity to
stop the virus from coming in. But do they really stop the bacteria?
Hi, Sharon.
Jonathan, yes.
Yes, just before you take the next question, I'd just like to take the opportunity to invite those who are joining us for the first time to join our groups, our WhatsApp group. We do have, we are trying to move over currently from WhatsApp to Telegram. So if you are on the groups and you haven't downloaded Telegram yet, we are encouraging you guys to go ahead and download it, as in the near future we'd like to close those platforms. And for those who are joining us for the first time, we invite you. We'll put the links in the chat to join us, where we share information, where we grow together on our journey of maintaining and recovering our health.
Thank you for that, Jonathan. And sorry, Dr. Louisa, we just missed the end of what you were saying because your signal cut out. But we do have a question from YouTube from somebody, Verita. How can you repair the lungs after an infection?
As I said, with the lungs, it's going to take a moment, but vitamin C is very important in lung repair, as well as zinc and collagen, because remember, that's what makes the structure of the lung. And the sooner you do it, the better, before it becomes fibrotic, meaning it heals with scarring. So that's some of the things. There are natural remedies that you know, as I'm a missionary doctor, so things like your onion packs and your fomentations to the chest are very good at helping the body to recover, including inhalations as well. So vitamin C, zinc, and collagen soon after the recovery process. And then, yeah, other things you would need to get in touch, because if I mention them here, people are going to use them incorrectly. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's a question with regards to the kidneys. How does a person with kidney disease or a kidney transplant utilize all this information that you're sharing with us?
Yeah, as you said, that becomes a more specific condition, because you see, when you have a kidney transplant, they have to put you on immunosuppressive drugs so that the transplant takes place. So already you are a bit at risk, because if we boost up your immune system, it will realize that that kidney is not your own. So it becomes a bit of a challenge. We would have to see you how long after the transplant has been. Are we sure that it has taken? What other conditions are going on? Because as long as you have a weakened immune system, it's going to affect. So I would say things like turmeric and ginger, you can continue to use. Those are going to help you. But you would do the normal practices that you would have been doing all along to not get yourself exposed unnecessarily to things. I know people say we wear masks in the hospitals. Yes, I've worked in the hospital, I've worked in theater. We wear masks so that we don't give off things, but we don't wear masks constantly all the time, every day of our lives. So that's the big difference. It's for a specific time, and then you take the mask off. But the regulations is that for 9 months we've been wearing masks, and we're saying that for a lifetime we're going to wear masks. So let's be balanced about it. We wear masks in the hospital, but it's not always all the time. Well, except with these new regulations.
Yes, somebody would like to know, Doc, how they can get in touch with yourself.
You can send me a WhatsApp. Please don't call. Send me a WhatsApp and say who you are, and then just wait and be patient. I don't open messages until I know I will have the time to respond. Understanding that I do have a full-time job. I worked at a lifestyle center, and I do have other commitments. So, and let me know, just say this is who, and so I would like to schedule a consultation. I always start with those. But I would like to say to people, because I can't attend to everyone. Some people, they contact me only to ask me about the things we have said you should do. Just implement New Start. I am telling you, it doesn't have to come from me. Any of the TTI members, implement New Start in your life, and you will start to see the difference. Does that make sense? Just do the little that we said you must do. You will start to see the difference. And then when you get stuck and you need specific information, then perhaps you can do a consultation. But these are what we call the 9 doctors. I'm doctor number 9. Because then I charge for the consultations. Do you understand? But do the free 8 doctors, and you will start to see a difference in your life. And that's why we're empowering you. A lot of the times people contact me, and all they need to do is take the ginger or drink the onion or stop eating dairy, and they haven't done those basic foundational things. So then you will find that I will just tell you, go watch the video. So watch the videos, do what they say. And then when you haven't seen the changes, then contact doctor number 9. I will tell you what my consultation fee is, and then we will take it from there.
Okay, thank you for that. So just to remind people, the 8 doctors, the ones that are free, but come at the cost of, well, Jesus blood. But N, it's spelling out the word nutrition. There's different variants of it, but it all comes down to the same thing. So the word is New Start. N stands for having nutritious food. So nutritious food, anything you ingest has to be good nutrition, okay? And it's not only eating the right thing, but it's at the right time, the right quantities, not overindulging, etc. So that's nutrition. E is your exercise. W is your water, that internally and externally. Start. S, sunshine. We've spoke a lot about that today. T, temperance. That is moderation in what is good and abstinence from what is not good. And the A is air, and we spoke a lot about air, whether you're having restricted air or good, fresh, clean air. R, the rest, having adequate rest. And the final T is trusting God, trusting God's divine healing power. So we implement those 8 doctors, and if we're still stuck, we shouldn't be. You could also consult number 9, doctor number 9. Okay, yes, there are quite a few more questions in the chat. She doesn't rate it highly, but I do. I rate, because your knowledge comes from the God that we trust in. Okay. So some more questions, Jonathan. Are there any hands? I know there's a few more questions in the chat.
Not that I can see from my side, Sharon, that we
Okay.
haven't covered already.
Someone was asking about steaming in South Africa, because they're saying there's a 2-week program. I didn't know about that, but there's a 2-week program where people are encouraged to steam. Is it good to steam every day?
Well, we are called to temperance because we should be temperate in all things. But I would rather people steam if that's going to reduce their fear. You know, I don't want them to be afraid. Yes, there's a program. I don't even remember the last time I steamed. I steam when I feel my body is warning me about something. You know, or if my mom makes me. But and I'm still all right. We are out of eucalyptus oil in South Africa, but there's a lot of trees that's growing on the side of the road, eucalyptus trees and pepperboom. You know, just ask your mother, your grandmother. They know the trees that we used to use for steaming, and then you can look up the benefits and you will see that they have antiviral properties.
Okay, there is a question on here. Is this going to be the last question?
So Sharon, it just all depends on how Dr. Louisa feel about taking any more. I can see 3 hands.
Okay. This one's to do with ginger. And then we'll take the hands. This is the final one I'm going to go to. Is ginger a good spice to take, and is juicing a good idea, and what time of juicing? So there's 3 questions in one. Yes, there are lots of benefits of ginger, being an antihistamine, it's a good antihistamine, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. But I'll let the doctor answer this question though. Is ginger a good spice to take, and is juicing a good idea, and what time of juicing? And of course, we've got to include temperance in there, because your ginger, it can affect your blood pressure. Am I correct? Yeah,
yes.
But it can lower your blood pressure. And if you're on blood pressure tablets, you've got to bear in mind what you're doing. Remember, we do have the disclaimer, consult your doctor. Okay, over to you. I talk too much.
But you've answered it when it comes to ginger. It has good properties. Yes, it's good, unless for those who are allergic to ginger. It's actually one of the powerful things for those people with sinus problems and lung problems. I normally, my patients, I tell them to take 1 kilogram of ginger, mix it with, blend it together with 1 liter of water and drink shots. I know that face, yes. These are people with extreme asthma. I had a young girl, she was a pilot and she wasn't allowed to fly because of the issues of her lung, and she went on that program and she was all right. She needed strong ginger to drink. That's for somebody with an asthma problem. You can use it in your food, you can put it in your juices. Juicing is a form of therapy. So you may want to use it when you're on a detox program, or you must know what it is you're doing in the juicing. I think we've done programs on juicing, isn't it, Sharon? So it would depend what it is you're trying. As a doctor, I always say it depends, you know, because you're taking in extra fluids, you're not taking in the fiber, and it depends on what you're juicing, because if you're diabetic and you're juicing fruits, that can affect you. Blah blah. So I think you can watch one of the programs on juicing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Louisa. Jonathan, did you want to take some of the hands? I'm not seeing them at the moment.
Yes, excellent. Can we have Louise first, please? And then I can see Louis, True Temperance, and Dolores. Are you there, Louise? If not, we'll just move on to Dolores. Oh, thank you, Louise. I think you are muted. Okay. Can we have Dolores, please?
Are non-hosts able to unmute?
Hi, sorry about that. I couldn't unmute for a while. And just a quick question. I noticed in the chat it said about I know steering away from dairy and sugar helps the sinuses. When you say sugar, is it processed sugar or just all types of sugar? Because I've tried to switch like processed sugar for like maple syrup or honey. Just wondered.
You've
Oh,
muted,
okay, I just cut the.
Sorry.
So Dr. Louisa, the question is, you've talked about sugar suppressing the immune system. Is it all sugar or certain processed sugar or all sugar, be it fruits or?
Yeah, okay. It's mostly it's refined sugars. Nobody should be eating white bread, and I find it very sad. In the hospitals, they feed people white bread. So I mean, that just shows how we are not just clued up in terms of fizzy drinks, your white bread, your biscuits, and then obviously similar effect, even overeating of the healthy things. So if you're gonna eat your fruits, that's what I said about in terms of juicing. If you're going to be juicing a whole lot of green apples all the time, and that's all, that's a lot of sugar that you're putting into your system. You can overwhelm your body, you know. I find it's better if you juice your vegetables and then just kind of add a little bit of fruits to, you know, to add some flavor and break the greenness in it. But mostly it's your refined sugars that we're talking about.
Thank you very much, Doc. Can we have Louise, please?
Thank you, guys. For some reason, I couldn't unmute. Earlier on, Doctor was talking about a spray. I missed what it was, a spray with vitamin E oil and some other stuff. I didn't quite catch what it was. Could she repeat, please?
Sorry, Louise, can you move closer to your mic? We're really struggling to hear you.
Just a minute. Okay, can you hear me now?
Just.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Earlier on, Dr. Kobosa was talking about a spray with vitamin E oil and some other stuff, but I missed what it was that she said. So
by 16, take off that. By 16,
yeah.
Sorry, can you mute if you're not asking a question? Thank you. Right, you were saying about a spray, Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Louise.
Hi, Doc.
It's fine, Louise. I heard you.
Okay.
How are you, my friend?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Yes. Wonderful. I was saying that a person can use a nasal saline spray, which is just a salt water solution, to wash out the nose. That's step number one. Then after that, they can put a vitamin E oil in the nose. I think those are the only two things I mentioned. A lot of people with sinus problem tend to use antihistamines, you know, but that does not necessarily deal with the problem, and it actually causes a rebound effect in the long term. So this is a natural way of clearing your sinuses. What you're doing with the nasal saline solution is you're washing out any particles that causes irritation in the nose. And with the vitamin E oil, it's like applying oil to your skin. You're putting a barrier between the cells of your nose and whatever is going to be coming in, because those people, their body is not doing that as naturally as for you and me.
Great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Louis.
So just for clarity, would you just so you'd either snuff or squeeze the spray of the saline, but to get the vitamin E oil in the nostrils, would you just apply like you know what I'm trying to say? How you're not going to sniff up the vitamin E oil, and so it's like on the end of a Q-tip, for example, just to, you know, gently massage the lining in turn. This doesn't look good. You know what I'm trying to say.
No, I understand what you're saying. So with the saline solution, at the health shops, even at Clicks and Discount, they should give us money for advertising for them. You can get bottles actually, and then they come with the opening at the top. So you literally just squeeze the water in, and then it runs out. If you don't have that, you can actually on a teaspoon just what you're doing so that they don't think you're taking drugs. On a teaspoon you inhale it into your nose, quite good. But it's very good for clearing the nose. You will feel so much better. Then with the vitamin E oil, the best thing to do is to buy the one that comes with a pipette. So then you just take a drop and then you just drop it in your nose. It's the easiest way. Otherwise, yes, you're going to struggle with trying to see how you do it. So just buy the vitamin E oil with a pipette. So you squeeze the rubber thing on top and then you just drop it into your nose and then you just press your nose like that and then voila, that's it. You can just put some even just on the outside to make sure that your nose is not dry. And then you can just chew on a piece of ginger after that. Ginger literally just opens up your nose. Yeah.
So a question for the host, will this program be available on YouTube to rewatch?
Definitely. Yeah, it's on YouTube now.
Okay, thank you.
Scroll back to the end. Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis, you've got your hands up.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you for your patience.
No problem. Just a quick question. It's regarding the over 80s. So we know how the government has recommended that over 80s need to be looked after first with the vaccines, etc. So Dr. Louisa, because they're older, their system runs a bit slower. Can we apply the same principles that you've spoken of today to also advise our older folks, like example like the 80+-year-olds? Obviously, they're less active. The immune system is not as it's not functioning as it would about 10 as when they're younger. So the question is, can we apply the same principles that you've been speaking about today regarding how the immune system works and how we can boost it for the over 80s? Just so we know, a lot of us have grandparents, etc.
Yes, absolutely, you can. I'm on a group on a WhatsApp group with some doctors, and you know, a lot of doctors are waiting for the vaccine in South Africa. But this one doctor did mention that she's looking after 2 80-year-olds, her grandparents, and they are both on pacemakers and they have comorbid disease, and they got infected, and she just used the natural remedies. She made sure that they steamed. She gave them vitamin C. She made them artemisia, which grows wild in South Africa. That's lingana or mhlonyane, and they recovered just fine. So that is the beauty of the defense system and the immune system. If you apply these 8 laws of health as a foundational principle, and you make sure that you know what herbs and what spices to use, and you know just how to mentally not be stressed and to trust that your body knows what it's supposed to do, at whatever age, you will be well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lewis. And thank you so much, Dr. Louisa, as well, for your questions and for the answers. This is what makes the show what it is. We still have 107 people on this show and more on YouTube, 106. And I think they're waiting to hear, Jonathan, you said you've got stuff to give away, you know.
No, Sharon, I didn't say I have stuff to give away. I say I have good stuff in store. But but yes, of course. For those people who left early, well, sorry, they're not going to know, you know, all those goodies I have in store. But yes,
they will if they watch it on YouTube.
So going forward from this week, I don't know how long it will continue. I would like to give away some stuff. And this week, randomly, I'd like to, there are terms and conditions apply. However, I do know we have an international audience. And for those people who are overseas, it might cost you a bit for me to get it to you. I promise you, if it's not too expensive, I will stand the cost of some of it. But if you really need it and want it, then you might have to contribute to it. So I've got quite a bit of stuff from different people. In our team, we have different people that make different products. For example, here you see, I've got a lung tonic, and this will help to support your lung. I'll tell you just a couple of the ingredients in there. It's quite a long list, but we have elderberry, we have licorice root, and we have eucalyptus leaves. Those are just 3. I have a long list down, other good stuff that's in it. Now, the person that made these, she always sells these, and it costs £10 per bottle. But this evening, I would like to give this to someone who have invited 5 people to the TTI show. Is there anyone out there, such person, that invite 5 people this evening on their own?
And this needs to be somebody who's not a member of the TTI International
most assuredly.
Administration team.
Most assuredly. If we can't find 5, can we say 4? Is there such a one that invite 4 people on this evening?
You'll have to unmute and confess if you're the one.
And this, I'm not referring to Alvin.
No, there was a hand up, John. Nita Lemon.
Okay.
I
can't see a hand, Alvin. Can you ask her to unmute and speak to us? That's fine.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Have you invited anyone on this evening?
Yes, I've invited all of my family, 5 of them, 3 friends and a cousin.
And they're on now?
I don't know if they're on now. My mom's on. I know my mom's on. Let me see if my cat. I don't know if they're on. I just invited them.
Oh no, they need to be on. They need to be on. You need to make sure that they're on, and then you can
okay. I know my mom's on. I don't know about the rest.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I have to keep my goodies.
Okay, no worries. That's fine.
Maybe you can try next week.
Okay.
Okay, is there anybody else? Is there anyone else?
Yeah, sorry, I've just come on. I just came on the past couple of weeks. I haven't seen you every week, but I've been a dentist and I've known the health message for many years. I haven't invited anybody. Well, I have, and my daughter's sitting here with me now. Yeah. So we're watching it together, but not as many as 5 before. But I think it's a brilliant thing. We have to get as many people watching as possible. That's the crux of it, isn't it? To get as many people watching and getting the message out there, the health message. So,
that's
yeah.
right. Thank you very much. If there's no one that invited 5 people on today, or they are on, or 4. Please, I'm encouraging you, try and do it next week, because I really like to give away some of these. They are really wonderful. It's soothing. But this evening, I really want to give away this one. So I'm just wondering, is there someone that invited 2 persons on?
I've invited a lot of persons. So anyone on the prayer group for Anne-Marie and Stratford group, and on the G Health group and the Seeds group, please just say.
Whilst we're waiting for Anne-Marie's inviting.
I'm one of them for Anne-Marie.
There's one.
Bernadette.
I'm one for Anne-Marie. I'm Doreen.
2. Anyone else? Jonathan, you're muted.
So I think this one will be going for Anne-Marie. So Anne-Marie, if you want to leave your information, you can send it private, you can send your address and we'll post this out to you. I'm assuming that you're in London. Is that correct, Anne-Marie?
Yes, I am. Did I hear Tonette voice? Tonette, are you on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we look forward to sending this to you, Anne-Marie. After you receive it, you've tried it and everything, we are hoping that you'll come back and give some feedback.
Most definitely.
I've also got other people here that would like to share some of their product that they would like to give away each week as well. So I'm going to call on Natalia.
Before that, Jonathan, there was a question about your tonic. Someone was asking, not everybody
to win. So therefore, is it possible for them to find out the details of the person that makes it so that they can buy it? On her set.
You're muted.
It's interesting. This
Sorry, we will put the we'll put that in the chat as well. We'll put the information for the person who made this in the chat so you can contact her. But whilst I'm here giving it away free, you might want to get it from me free before you go to them. But if Natalia is there, Natalia, we'll give Natalia a minute just to talk about the product that she would like to give away as well.
Hi everyone. I'm happy to contribute to the giveaways, and I make natural hair products. I'm a natural hair coach and I'm happy to give away some of my items over these weeks and also offer one-to-one hair coaching for our guests that are overseas. So anyone outside of the UK, if you win one of the giveaways, I'm happy to do a free consultation to get you on your natural hair journeys. Anybody out there who is suffering with any hair loss or missing, receding hairlines or anything to do with those sort of stuff, that's my sort of field. So just putting that out there, John, so you can add that to the giveaways. The hair therapy is happy to contribute.
Thank you very much, Natalia, and I'm sure people will encourage people. I know sometimes people struggling with hair loss and different, condition, alopecia and all that sort of stuff. So thank you very much. I must say, like I said, there's quite a few people that does different products. There's condition to there are terms and condition to our giveaway. So as we go along, we'll let you know. So can I have Charlene at this point to tell us what she would like to give away and tell us some more about her product, what she does.
Also, can you remember our YouTube audience? There may be someone there that would like to be included in the giveaway. So if you can keep an eye on there, and perhaps even just have a specific YouTube giveaway.
Thank you for that, Sharon. Charlene.
Sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining MTTI. Some of you may know, majority of you will not know. My name is Sharon. I make natural products, and Dr. Louisa was talking about when it comes to the skin and our defense. So when it comes to the skin, the products that we put on top of our skin is very important. So my giveaway would be either a cream, a body butter, or it will be some soaps or a shower gel, whichever I choose. So it could be shower gel, soaps, creams. It could be, some of you who know who I do essential oils. It could be an immune type oil, which will have some powerful essential oils in there with comes in a 10 ml bottle. So it could be any one of those, whichever I choose. I will let you know during the weeks of which one it would be as a giveaway. Well, that's what I do, and it hasn't got any harmful ingredients or chemicals within it. So that's what it be, natural products for your skin to help with when it comes to your immune system. Sorry, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Sharon has reminded me that we have YouTube video and viewers, and I'm mindful of them. And so I'm not sure how we will incorporate you in this, but we are not forgetful of you. So we'll think of a way which we can incorporate you so you can be blessed by some of these giveaway. One last thing I would like to add in there, as a bonus, we know that a lot of people are trying to make transition in their diet along their health journey. And we also have someone among TTI, a person among TTI that does different cooking classes and recipes and stuff like that that can help you along your journey of transition from meat eating or anything to a plant-based diet. And they're happy also to give away some meal plans and to do one-on-one with you, just to help you to cook, to transition. And I know I'm not too sure if Janine would like to speak, but that's Janine. She's a part of our team and she's more than happy to do some giveaways as well. So if you are Janine, you don't have to, but if you are, you can say something regarding that.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
I'm here. Yeah, so some of you may know that I have a plant-based cooking channel on Instagram called Plant Easy, PLANTEAZY. And as part of the giveaway, I'll be looking to do potentially a free cooking session for someone. If they want to know how to cook a certain thing, or we can work together on something. So yeah, I'm more than happy to do that in the weeks ahead.
Thank you very much, Janine. And guys, I look forward for you to invite your friends, invite people to share. Let us all grow along this journey of health and transition to better health, better mindset, and grow healthy and strong. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you very much. The race is not for the swift, but for those that endure to the end, okay? And there's many blessings in that promise. So thank you once again, listeners, viewers, for tuning in to the True Temperance International Family Health Show this week on the 23rd of January, 2021. We are always excited to have you join us. And we have another, for those of you who don't know, we have a program every week. So we have another person lined up for next week to present. If you stay tuned, we will let you know who it is next week. But again, you will not be disappointed. So look out for our WhatsApp, what's the other one, Telegram. We have a spiritual health group as well, where you can share spiritual encouragement or be encouraged by a video presentation or a devotional. And we also have the health groups, which deal specifically with encouraging you with the challenge. The challenge for this week, Jonathan, do you have a challenge for this week?
I was just about to say, Sharon, I'm so grateful. I'm not sure if we did say thanks to Dr. Louisa, because it was such an informative program this evening. And we're so grateful, Dr. Louisa, for you to take the time out to put together the presentation. In the chat, many people said it was such an informative program and they were blessed. But I'm wondering if Dr. Louisa has a challenge.
No, I don't have a challenge, but I do have an invitation to everybody that for the week, put in the foundational principles. I saw a lot of new names joining us, so do New Start. Especially the one law that you're finding a challenge with, but especially for those of us in South Africa, spend time in the sun. It is free. Okay, spend time in the sun. Some people in other countries, they don't have that, and you have to buy vitamin D, and the vitamin D that I've seen people buying, it's 1,000 units. It's not anything. It's not going to have the effect. So spend some time in the sun. Secondly, drink your teas, watch the other programs. We do the flu shots, the flu bombs, drink that. Even if it's just once a day, just drink that, especially when you've been out. Thirdly, find the trees. I'm talking about those in South Africa, but those in other countries, get your eucalyptus oil and steam, and get into the habit of steaming and knowing what to do. But I think my challenge would be watch the other programs if you haven't seen them. You will see that they are quite informative, and then implement what it is they say. And that is how you show a trust in your body, by giving it what it needs. But if anybody else on the TTI group would like to encourage people, please, by all means, let's do that. And remember to not be overwhelmed. I had to go see a family, and the man was looking really bad. And when I asked him, he said, I don't have a problem. I'm just overwhelmed by the amounts of death that are happening. And it was easy for me to counsel him, because he's a Christian. We went through Psalm 61, which says, "Hear my cry, O Lord, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the world will I cry unto thee when my eye." And the following day, I know we're going through challenging times, but I think because of the change, he's not going to church anymore. Nobody's going to church. Churches are closed. He had neglected his spirituality, and that's why he got overwhelmed by what is going on in the world. So watch what you're watching. If you're focusing on the news all the time, you're going to feel overwhelmed. But if you focus on the one who created all things, including your body, which is amazing and fearfully made, you will find that you're able to sail.
Thank you so much for that, Louisa. We did want to make it a practical challenge this week, and what I could share with you is the flu bomb, as Dr. Louisa mentioned it. So I'm going to do a quick screen share so you can see the recipe for one of the many flu bombs there are. Hopefully you're able to see that. Can you see that? I did share this one. I think I shared it last week, but it's the tried and tested one. So we've got a tablespoon of horseradish, if you can get that naturally, a teaspoon of, and if there's any of the ingredients in here that you can't get access to, it doesn't mean you don't do it. Just leave it out or find something similar. So if you can't find the lemon, get some limes. If you can't find some limes or lemons, but you can find the other things and go for the other things. So we've got a tablespoon of horseradish, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, that's good cayenne pepper, 3 cloves of garlic, half a small onion or 1/4 of a big onion, 3/4 cups of honey, 3 lemons or limes, 1 drop of edible peppermint oil, not anything off the counter, but you've got to make sure it's ingestible. If you don't have it, just leave it out. You can put some peppermint leaves in, but whatever you have, try and go for something like that. Blend it all together. And then as and when because it's food, we're not saying have a certain amount. It's nutritious food. So take the tablespoon as and when required. If you feel you've got a cough, you may want to take a tablespoon first thing in the morning. And then at lunchtime, you may want to take it 3 times a day, as and when required. It's a remedy that can be used to help with recovery from your flu. And as you can see, the various ingredients in there, there's so many nutritious properties in there that's going to help you on your natural remedy from this seasonal illness. Thank you. Okay, so if there's anybody that would like to unmute, just to say hi, you can introduce yourselves, speak to the team. And
Sharon,
we're going to...
Just before you, can we just say goodbye to those are...
That's what I was about to say. So those that are on YouTube, it's lovely having you with us. And we look forward to seeing you again the same time next week. So 3 o'clock UK time, whatever time it is, wherever in the world you live, for 2 hours, maybe a bit longer if the question and answers goes on for a bit longer. But same time, same place next week. I'm sure Wilfred might be in a different place. He might not be on the same mount, in the same place where he's walking today, but hey. So lovely to have you all with us. So we are going to stop the recording.